Hello! Welcome back, everybody. We're dressed to quest, and thank you for joining us this day, whether it's afternoon, evening, or morning for you. Who knows? Yeah, I am Nathan. I'm the DM on this show, and I'm going to pass it over to our players to do their quick intros, and then we're going to do a quick recap and jump right back into the story. So let's start with Chris.
Hello, everyone. I'm Chris, and I play Ayiza Marley, a human Termitian wizard. And I'm ready to go to the sea today.
And let's next go to Erica.
Alright, hi, I'm Erica. I play Rin Swiftbow, Wood Elf, Beastmaster Ranger, mouthful of things, and I cast my Falcon Bird every session.
Yes, and really quick, because normally we would be going to Eric next. You'll notice that Eric is not here today. I see that Eric is in chat, which is, I thought he was on a plane. But he's on vacation today. So Eric will not be joining us today, but tune in next week to see Eric's character, Volric. All right, next is Jack.
G'day everyone, I'm Jack, owner of Project H2, and I play Sephrith Bloodtongue, a half-orc barbarian. And let's have some fun and hopefully get a bit of rage and butchering going on today.
And next up is Space.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm Space. I play Aspen, the Asimar Hexblade Divine Warlock, Source and Sorcerer.
Excellent.
Ready to get... Yeah.
And last but not least, we have Josh.
Hi everybody, I'm Josh, and I play Captain Shifty Capone, the real Malone. And I am a rogue smuggler who just got promoted to captain of a clunky old ship with this gang of roundabouts. Ruffians. There's the word.
Yes, you did. The amazing Diora that you've commandeered. So with that, excuse me, let's do a quick little recap here, and then we'll jump right into the story. So last time, our adventurers. Sorry, I was looking at a playlist called Travel, so it distracted me. Last time, our adventurers were traveling through the swamp. They were headed towards the lizardfolk lair, guided by Oshawott, a lizard folk that they had met aboard the ship that they had commandeered a couple days ago. They discovered that these lizard folk were accumulating stolen weapons from the Lord's Alliance to arm themselves against a threat of Sahuaghin that had driven them out of their home. Oshawott has agreed to lead you to their home and arrange a meeting with their Queen Othokent, in order to hopefully form an alliance between Saltmarsh and the lizard folk to go against the greater threat of the Sahuaghin. With all of that in mind, you traveled through the swamp, this misty, cold swamp filled with these looming trees above you, and you came to a river crossing. Oshawott seemed a bit tense, claiming that Thousand Teeth's children may be lurking about. And as you attempted to cross the river, a series of these monstrous snake-like creatures burst forth from the muck and tried to devour you, seeming to be driven by some sort of hunger for flesh. However, you were all able to very easily dispatch them. There were a couple close calls where Oshawott was almost dragged into the muck and devoured, but you managed to get through, and Rin, of course, with her bow, just firing off and killing many of these creatures. After dealing with this, you arrived in front of the lizardfolk lair. You found yourselves walking into this cave with kind of a sunken, swampy area leading up to a rocky path where you could see two entrances on either side. Oshawott called out in Draconic, and you saw many gigantic lizards come lurching out of the muck, staring at you almost like guard dogs. And then more lizard folk came pouring out to greet you. So, with this, let's jump right in, shall we? So all of you are standing here in front of the lizard folk lair. I'm going to send you all to a map just so you have a little bit of a understanding of kind of what you're dealing with here. Let me see here. There we go. So, as Ashwak finishes calling out in Draconic, you see these massive lizards come up out of the muck, looking at you, their tongues flicking out, seeming to smell the air, and then an entire contingent of lizard folk, all armed with various weapons, spears, and clubs, come pouring out of those two entrances, staring at you with some apprehension. Rin, you hear Ashwak calling back to them.
I've brought dwellers from Saltmarsh to speak with the Queen Othokent. They request an audience with her.
You see one of the lizard folk step forward, a kind of broader shouldered one, shield at their side, seems to be made of a large turtle shell, and a spear.
Very well, bring them in. But remove their weapons. We've had some run-ins since you've been gone, Ashwak, with the humans.
Ashwak kind of turns and looks towards you all, and then speaks back to you in common.
Good. They've agreed to bring you before the Queen, but you must relinquish your weapons. It appears that they've had some aggressive run-ins with other humans. Do you agree to this?
Oh, it doesn't bother me in the least.
Oh, not
Pop up my
again.
dagger. Then another dagger.
Okay.
And another dagger.
Ah,
Then the last dagger.
Okay. You see
someone-
you see a
I
bunch of the
want those
lizard
back.
folk. You see a bunch of the lizard folk coming down to greet you, and they start collecting the weapons in a big sack. Go ahead, Sethreth.
Yeah,
I want to do one other thing.
I don't hand him over. My axe stays with me.
Okay.
Look, I'll make a deal. I'll strap it to my back, tie it up so I can't use it. It just can't leave me.
You're saying this to
I had
Ashwak?
this problem in another village before. Can someone explain it so I don't have
This
to?
is... Sorry, I was going to say,
Go ahead.
we're all hands at this, and there's always an issue. So I'm addressing Ashwak. My friend, the axe is part of him. It is his spirit weapon, his token, if you will. He cannot be separated from it, or there will be dire consequences.
Go ahead and make persuasion. Is this a persuasion, or are you trying to deceive?
I'm not
No,
deceived.
this
Okay.
is
Make a persuasion. Make a
This
persuasion
has
roll.
happened before.
Make a persuasion roll.
This
and
is
like I'll offer to strap it to my back
Yeah.
and tie it.
Go ahead and make a persuasion roll with advantage. Aize, as Sethreth, you are beginning to strap it to your back.
14 and 13.
Okay. Ashwak kind of looks over.
I understand. Very well.
And turns back and addresses this lizard folk who has stepped forward to greet you, who seems to be kind of some sort of sergeant with the shield. Ashwak starts to speak to them, then Draconic. Rin, you pick up.
The orc, their weapon is part of them. They have a bond with it. They cannot be parted with it. But please, believe me, they saved my life. I trust these folk.
The other one kind of tenses.
Very well, Ashwak. Very well.
Do the rest of you give up your weapons, or are you also trying to hold on to them?
Well, I mean, I don't carry my weapon with me.
That's
so.
true, yeah.
I'm just. It is
Okay. Shifty?
Yes, I do release my
Okay.
my rapier and dagger and short bow, and I'm like, take good care of this, and I just hand them to them.
Yeah. They're collecting them and putting them into a sack. They are handling them with care, and you do see some of them kind of inspecting and then placing it in. Rin, what about you?
Rin hands over her quiver and bow, but just kind of holds Bert. It's like, Bert stays with me, she says in Draconic.
Okay. They agree to this. So with all your weapons collected, you see, yes, Aize?
I wanted to cast a spell.
Yeah, go for it.
Here we go.
Let's see here.
I'm using my
Comprehend languages, okay.
and I'm using my whatchamacallit, the ability that I have to be able to cast a ritual spell at its normal casting time.
So is that just one action?
Yeah.
That's incredible. So you whip open archive and here we go. And very rapidly he starts to just rattle off draconic phrases that seem to kind of fill your mind, and you start to hear the murmur of all these lizard folk around and start picking up on bits of conversation. Rin, you as well picking up on this. You hear some kind of leaning and having an aside.
I don't trust these kind. Last time they killed many of us.
And you hear others kind of murmuring amongst themselves. With all your weapons gathered, Sethreth, yours strapped to your back, the lizard folk start to wave you forward. As you move through this kind of waist-high water sloshing through, you see the lizard folk very adeptly just like almost half swimming, like their big powerful tails propelling them through this water. The large lizards kind of part, keeping an eye on you, and you eventually find yourselves, as you're walking up onto this stone path, all the lizard folk start to kind of encircle you and pushing you through the halls. They all are clutching their weapons tightly, keeping an eye on you. You see their tongues kind of flicking out every once in a while. And you are led deeper into the lizard folk lair. Stepping inside this place, you find yourself in rough-hewn caverns. They look to be constructed. There are portions where the caverns themselves are supported by wooden supports. You can see these bundles of reed that appear to be like soaked in some kind of fat or oil that are slightly burning. So there's this very smoky scent to the entire layer, plus a strong kind of swamp water smell that fills this entire place. And as you're being led through these halls, you periodically see other lizard folk going about their business. You see not just warriors, you see what look to be just citizens going about their day. You see at one point a lizard folk leading a gaggle of small little, like, baby lizard folk, little children lizard folk that are kind of chittering up to this other one. And they all kind of stop and look at you with curiosity and fear as you're being led through these hallways. You eventually find yourselves being led before a massive set of double doors. And as you are moving down this hallway, you pass a door to your right, and through that door you kind of get the scent of like cooking meat and stew wafting through the hallways. But you end up in front of this massive wooden double door that is has these intricate carvings on it. You see a large lizard folk with a powerful looking lizard folk wielding a massive club that is covered in these serrated, looks to be maybe shells. It's very stylized. And behind them, you see various creatures. You see some large snakes with multiple heads kind of spilling out in a arc behind them. And then directly behind them, looming large in kind of the background, is a multi-headed creature with multiple serpent heads kind of rised up before them. This lieutenant slams on this big wooden door and then kind of steps to the side. All the other lizard folk crowded around you, anxiously speaking amongst themselves. There's a kind of a bit of a pause, and then you see the door crack open and another lizard folk snake their head out. They have a brief exchange. You, Rin, and Aize are just able to briefly pick up.
We have more visitors. They wish to speak with the queen. Yes, she is almost done with this She's almost done with the coalinth. You'll let them in. We'll let them in shortly.
You wait a brief period, and then eventually the doors crack open and revealing a large room within. As they are opening up, oh, I forgot to put a door on here, so you can already see the room. Look at that. As the doors open up before you, the first thing you see is a humanoid individual walking very brusquely towards you in this big, great hall. There are pillars that line the hall going towards the back, and at the back there is a large throne decorated with serpentine heads, kind of where the armrests would be, and curving up the backside of the chair. On either side of these pillars, you see multiple lizard folk stationed, armed with various weapons. And sitting on the throne is a lizard folk individual looking over you all. This individual is a powerfully built lizard folk with kind of dark brown and yellow mottled scales, with a bright red frill that runs down to their mid-shoulders. Almost like a crocodile's scales on this lizard folk with this bright red crest. They have ornate shoulder pieces made up of bright red feathers and animal bones, and they wear pieces of fine gold jewelry around their forearms and calves. As they sit in the throne, very straight backed looking at you, you see their tail curled around their side, kind of flicking with anticipation. There are 3 other individuals down on the ground flanking them, patiently waiting as you're entering the room. And then there's this one individual walking very brusquely towards you. As they approach, you see what looks to be, at first, those of you that have encountered hobgoblins, you think it's a hobgoblin, and kind of it's the shape of its like face and its build of its body. Sort of, oh, first time chatter, hello, nice to see you. What is it, Lynxerex? Hi. And they have a goblin-like face with kind of little tusks pointing out, but their skin is like a deep aqua green, and they are what appears to be thick gills that run down the neck, and they have armor made up of shells and various aquatic implements, and they're gripping a big trident at their side as they're brusquely walking down the hall, and they just push past you, shoulder checking you, Sethreth, as they kind of and they kind of look back at you, and they call to you. And do you speak Goblin?
No.
Okay. Does anybody speak Goblin?
I only speak Orc and Common.
Okay, so I don't think anybody understands this except for Aize. You hear it. They call back to Sethreth.
I got Goblin on my sheet.
Okay, so both of you understand this. Oh, the whole map shows up on Roll20. I just saw that from Shifty. Oh, well, no big deal.
I'm just learning to navigate it, so I'm gonna, like...
No, don't worry. That's fine. I don't mind. But this goblin pushes past, and they say, watch it, and Goblin towards you, Sethreth. You don't understand it. You just hear a brusque, like, as they keep going down the hall.
I bare my teeth and growl back.
And they keep going. You are ushered into the room, and you find yourselves standing here before what you presume to be the lizard folk queen resting atop the throne. She is, as I said, flanked by a couple of individuals. You see to her right a massive, broad-shouldered lizard folk with a long snout filled with teeth. They have muted dark brown scales and a lighter underbelly, and they are dressed in a robe that appears to be made of dried kelp. So it's kind of this layered kelp-like robe. And at their side is this long dagger that appears to be a big, long tooth that is polished immaculately. To the right of them, there is what looks to be an older, elderly lizard folk, scrawny with light green scales. Hunched, portly, not scrawny. This is a portly lizard folk that's hunched with kind of drooping orange head crest and dull green scales. They have bright blue scales that wrap around their eyes and down the length of their neck, and they wear a gold chain around their neck with a pair of specially designed spectacles at the bridge of their snout, and they're kind of looking you over. Lastly, you see to the queen's left a scrawny wizard folk with these light green scales and kind of bony head crest that rises up almost like a chameleon, with speckles of orange scales, and their eyes are a bit bug-eyed as they're looking about the room. They are adorned with numerous bones and feathers as they kind of look and eye you over as you enter. You are ushered before the queen. She looks down at you all.
I look to Ashrak, and I address him in common and say, "Is it appropriate for us to address Her Majesty?"
Ashrak, in a hushed voice, says,
I would wait for her to speak first.
Thank you for telling me.
Sethred's looking around at all these massive trophies on the wall, and he's quite impressed. He's
Yeah.
not going to hide his impression.
Yeah, looking up at the walls, you can see that in this chamber, adorning the walls themselves, as you caught Sethreth, there are trophies. There is one that looks to be the head of a massive shark, another one that looks to be some sort of mammal-like creature with big tusks and a big, wide nose. It's a hippo. There's one that looks like a giant crayfish, and there are multiple others all adorning the walls. She looks down at you all.
Oh, sorry, I was going to ask, any humans or goblins?
Looking up, that's a good question. What room is this? Here we go. Any humans or goblins? Here we go. Looking carefully, you do see the head of what looks to be a hobgoblin. And you do see a head of a... I think you know what this is, Aize, since I believe you rolled an Arcana check and knew what it was. You see a fish-like humanoid, their mouth filled with rows and rows of teeth, kind of bluish skin, and these big kind of fins poking out the sides, almost like earpieces, and they're in a menacing growl stuck on the wall. Yes, Sahuaghin up on the wall there. Otho Kent looks you over.
Welcome to my home. I've been informed that you want to speak with me. Tell me, why have you come here?
I bow. I look at the group, and I say first to them, "Anyone mind if I speak first?"
Volric bows to you. Volric is there. Volric bows to you and goes,
Ah, no, of course, Aize. You seem to have a very good fondness of these lizard folk.
go ahead.
I want to touch their pets. I say that. May the blessings of the nature goddess of whichever aspect you worship flow down upon you as the gentle rain from heaven upon the place beneath, O dread and powerful monarch of the lizard folk. Know that we encountered Ashrak in our journeys, and he informed us of your current difficulties with the Sahuaghin menace. And knowing that the Sahuaghin are the enemy of all who dwell upon the land, and especially them that dwell upon the coast, we believe that it would be in the best interests of all involved to set aside whatever differences we have and offer our services to you in putting down the Sahuaghin menace, which is definitely preferable to dealing with smuggler scum to buy weapons. Rather, let us take the bull by the horn, or I guess in this case, something more familiar to you, let us take the narwhal by the horn and thereby end them so that they do not expand and close their claw around the coast. That is why we are here, Your Grace.
Interesting. Such fine words you speak.
She leans down towards the individual directly to her right, and in Draconic, she says,
Irtos, will you please fetch the piece of armor for me?
and then turns back. This large, almost crocodilian lizard folk turns with the kelp robes, turns away and kind of goes to the back of the room for a moment, and she looks back at you.
We have had a recent run-in with your kind. Those of you that dwell within the cities surrounding the Mere of Dead Men. Humans, elves, dwarves.
And Irtos approaches and hands her a piece, what looks to be a breastplate. She grabs it and then just chucks it down on the ground before you as it and as it comes to a skid, you see a rusty breastplate covered in old dry mud and blood, and on its front is a painted symbol. It is a red banner with a gold crown emblazoned on it, the symbol of the Lord's Alliance.
Right.
I
So-
curse like. I
So,
look over at Aspen.
you can understand our apprehension in trusting you all. These individuals arrived but a week ago. They attacked us, unprovoked. We've been nothing but peaceful to your kind. In fact, some of us have even established certain trade routes with Thornhold and Leylon, and some folks within Saltmarsh, though rare, it has occurred. And we were attacked.
Your
My
Grace.
lady.
Oh.
She turns and looks. Yeah, you can.
we?
She turns and she is speaking in common, very, very
Okay.
well spoken common. She turns and looks at you, Aspen.
Yes,
You have our deepest
and please,
sympathies.
if I may, no need for calling me my lady, for I am a proud lizard folk. You may call me Queen Othokent.
Queen Othokent, my apologies. You have our deepest sympathies, and we come to you not of the Lord's Alliance. They operate of their own will. We have come to the conclusion that these Sahuaghin are very dangerous for both you and for Saltmarsh.
Indeed, I agree with what you say. If the Sahuaghin are to take us down, you will surely be next. Nonetheless, your kind has slighted us, and getting everyone here to trust you, to trust the other humans, dwarves, and elves, and to work with them. Now that will be a great challenge.
You can ask, damn, I'm so terrible with names. Ashawak. We had every opportunity to dispose of him, but that's not how we do things.
Ashawak steps forward.
It is true, Queen Othokent. These ones saved my life from the children of Thousand Teeth, and they were very accommodating in brokering this talk with you.
Yeah, we come as representatives of Saltmarsh. And I kind of give a dirty glance over at Vorik. Most of us. We're here for both of our interests.
Uh,
I start to look extremely uncomfortable when Shifty opens his mouth.
Volric, Volric just nods and says, "What does Volric say?"
Like, whatever, kid.
Yeah, Volric says,
To be honest, Queen Othokent, we have done business with the Lord's Alliance, but we do represent ourselves, and we represent the good of all people in Saltmarsh. If they have wronged you, I'm sure we can get to the bottom of it and what happened. It surely was a misunderstanding. I don't think the Lord's Alliance would have done such a thing.
she cocks her head.
If I might add, we have not sworn any allegiance to the Lord's Alliance.
Hell no.
And we have not sworn any allegiance to the existing Council of the Saltmarsh.
No.
In most capacities, we are adventurers doing a job for recompense. With this exception, we all agreed that for the good of all, the Sahuaghin have to go.
So,
with that in mind,
are you here to broker an
inform me.
alliance with just your company here, the 6 of you? Or 7, I see. Or are you brokering an alliance with... Are you representing the interests of Saltmarsh?
If it is your wish to make an alliance with the Council of Saltmarsh, we will pass it on to them. But I do not believe, unless I am mistaken, any of us are empowered to speak for them. We can only speak for ourselves. Likewise, we cannot speak for the Lord's Alliance either. Certainly not.
We have
We are
nothing
not-
to do with it.
She turns and looks down to the 3 individuals flanking her chair.
Irtos, Salriv, Kapesk, I would like to hear your thoughts on this matter.
The large crocodilian figure with the kelp robes kind of steps forward.
My queen, I have made my position clear many times. I think that this alliance with the other species of this area goes against the will of Sahuaghin. I still don't trust any of them. And our aspect of Sahuaghin has been corrupted by something. This is clearly a sign that we are on the wrong path.
The scrawny, kind of chameleon-looking figure darts their bulging eyes around the room.
My queen, I always trust your judgment, but I cannot help but agree with Irtos. We have seen nothing but hardship come upon us since Thousand Teeth the Devourer has been corrupted. I do think this is a sign from Sahuaghin that we may be going in the wrong direction.
And the kind of portly older one looks you over.
Well, my queen, as I've told you many times, I don't think we can afford not to make an alliance with as many individuals as possible. We've seen what the Sahuaghin have done to us. They overwhelmed us with their powerful magics and their powerful weapons. I think that we must form these alliances. And I know that all the human folk, the elf folk and the dwarf folk, they're all different and varied. And we just must get to know them before we can understand whether they can be trusted or not. They are not all one the same.
You all speak wisely. You must prove yourselves then. The first thing I would have you do, should you accept it, I would like you to speak with our prisoner, The one that was supposedly from this Lord's Alliance that Volric is claiming may have been a misunderstanding. See if you can find out why they were sent here. Perhaps they will be more open to those of their own kind.
Oh yeah, I'd like to speak to him. Let me speak to him.
Absolutely
Let's
not.
speak to him. Let's speak to him. Come on.
My
Hold on,
queen, may
hold on, hold
may
on,
I
hold on.
approach?
Please silence everyone. Aspen, was it?
Yes.
Please speak.
Yes. I'm totally blanked out what I was about to say.
It's okay.
Chris, you
He's
can
in
go
deep
first.
thought right now.
I
It's
was
all right,
in deep
Aspen.
thought. I
I know what
had
you're
it.
thinking.
Big breath.
I use a telepathic command and I say, Shifty, please. Please.
Okay, so Shifty, you hear that in your head, and then Aize, did you want to say something to the queen?
It would it would be an absolute pleasure, and I can assure you that whatever information he has, we will glean from him, them, and we will share with you. And then I send out telepathics to each of them. We're not going to torture him. We don't have to torture him. We don't have to hurt him. I can get the information from him without torturing him and without hurting him or her or it or whatever. And then I repeat it.
All right.
Telepathic
So you
message.
all hear that message repeating in your head.
Don't have to torture him. We don't have to kill him, and we don't have to hurt him.
Very well.
I can extract the information from him without harming him.
And then, Aspen, do you remember what you were going to say?
Yes, my queen, you have we will figure out what's going on. And if I may, can I take this breastplate as evidence?
Yes, you may. You see kind of some quick looks and exchanges between the various council members that are looking up at her. And you also hear... you hear Aize and Rin. You hear Irtos, the big crocodilian one with the kelp robes, look up at Othokent.
I don't know why you insist on doing this.
Irtos, silence. They will prove themselves. I agree with Sauriv's counsel here. And then Othokent looks you over as again. Good. This will be the first step in your test. The second, if you will accept it, this Thousand Teeth, the Devourer that you have heard of. You see many exchanges amongst all the lizard folk and hushed tones kind of echoing through the room. It is a difficult decision that I am making here. But I would ask you to head into the swamp, to the lair of Thousand Teeth the Devourer, and put them to rest. It would be a great mercy, for they have become beyond repair. We have tried many times. There is an abrupt outburst from Kapesk and Irtos.
My queen! You cannot have them touch their filthy hands on the aspect of Samuanya.
And Kapesk goes,
Yes, what are you saying?
she raises her hands. It is taboo for us to enact any harm upon Thousand Teeth the Devourer. That is why I asked them to do this. They have become a great danger to us all. Our patrols are dropping off one by one every time they go out. And where Thousand Teeth lairs is a direct route to our lair between us and the Sahuaghin. Thousand Teeth is going to hinder any chance we have at dealing an assault on them. You see Irtos and Kapesk kind of hunching down.
I will agree to your will.
Erthos says. Kapesk.
Fine.
Sethrith kind of pipes up. Out of respect, we could bring back the head of this 1,000 teeth and you could put it on your wall. Wouldn't that be a good deed? I'd gladly chop it off for you.
Speak carefully, Sethrith.
No.
This is an holy creature to my people. I know you are new here, but please, do everything you can to bring their life to an end as peacefully as you can. It will not be easy.
I meant no
I
disrespect.
stomp on his
I
foot.
thought it would be an honor of such a creature to be on your wall.
I
No
understand.
disrespect in all intended.
I understand. I see where you're coming from.
Hmm.
It may be difficult as well, as thousand teeth has many heads.
Are you wanting us to kill all your monster fish in the swamp?
Thousand Teeth is not a fish. Thousand Teeth is an aspect of Sahuaghin, our god. And she gestures up, and you can see another intricate engraving of stone behind her, of that same powerful lizardfolk warrior with the club. And then behind them, this hydra-like creature looming in the background. And she gestures to the great hydra behind Sahuaghin. Thousand Teeth, the Devourer. I believe you folk in the common tongue refer to this creature as a hydra.
Can I roll nature?
Yes, you can.
Can we all?
I would
18.
say two of you can. So, go ahead, Sethrith, roll a nature check. What did you
I'll be happy to let Rin do it. She'd have much
Okay.
better knowledge than me, I'd say.
Go ahead, Rin. And Rin, if you don't want to roll nature, because I know rangers, you typically don't have nature as a skill. Do you have nature as a skill?
Things are loading. Let me check.
Okay.
Nope.
I will
two.
let you roll survival, Rin, and it's not necessarily understanding the technical textbook aspect, which is what Aize is going to get. This is whether or not you have that, that survival knowledge of creatures that dwell in the wild. So go ahead, you can roll a survival check if you wish.
Woo!
There we go. So both of you, yes, you both know what hydras are. Aize, are you looking for something specific? Are you wondering if what she is describing is indeed a hydra?
I'm suspecting that it is not a normal hydra. A normal
Okay.
hydra.
So she goes on to explain, and I'll start revealing things to the both of you as she explains. Thousand Teeth has recently become sick. In one of their outbursts, some of our shamans reacted and defended themselves. One of Thousand Teeth's heads was removed in this violent outburst. We've known this to happen in all of our time with Thousand Teeth. When Thousand Teeth has gone out on hunts, sometimes Thousand Teeth returns with an additional head, and we found the withered remains deep within the swamps. We typically collect these remains and use them in rituals and ceremonies to honor Sahuaghin. This time was different. Kapesk, would you like to speak to it? And the chameleon-like lizard folk.
Yes. We were conducting a ritual for Thousand Teeth. This was 3 months ago, when the first outburst occurred. When the head was removed. The head did not wither. It turned into some sort of grotesque monstrosity. Sprouted with tentacles, black goo, and slithered out and devoured the other shamans as Thousand Teeth erupted in a great roar. this black ichor leaking from their eyes. They seem to be filled with some insatiable hunger. They've been removing our food sources around their lair, killing our patrols, killing our shamans who have done everything to try to help Thousand Teeth sickness. And with each head removed, one of their children is born.
So, Aize and Rin. This sounds typical of a Hydra in that when a Hydra's head is removed, 2 more sprout. You know this. Rin, you've heard the stories, you've heard all these things. Aize as well, you've read all the books on it and the various lore. However, this sounds different in that when the head falls onto the ground, the one that is severed becomes its own entity. And in its place, as Kapesk is telling the story, you become horrified to realize that not only does one of the heads become this child creature, the Hydra still grows 2 additional heads in its place. So this thing is multiplying as it's being hacked to pieces by the various creatures in the swamp and the lizard folk attempting to defend themselves.
Sethweth is chewing on his D&D protein bar, which is jerky, and goes around and goes, well, how do you kill it then? If you chop off its head, it grows more, and the head sprouts into its offspring. How do you kill it?
The sovereign method for killing the Hydra, so to speak, requires fire or acid. Once you remove a head, you must sear the stump in order to prevent regeneration. White-hot weapons, immensely powerful quasi-deific heroes armed with torches was the traditional method, or judicious use of fire and acid are the methods that are typically used to prevent regeneration. But that is for a typical Hydra. I have not heard or read of any lore of a Hydra that transforms a severed head into a different creature. This is something different.
Yes, for both of you,
Curiosity.
this is entirely new. Go ahead, Sethra.
Out of curiosity, the heads that come on changing the offspring, are they like what we fought getting here and pretty easy to knock them out of the way, or if we cut them in half, do they multiply as well?
Ashawak turns to you.
Yes, those were the children.
Okay.
Oh, they did not multiply.
They can be dispatched easily, but in numbers they can be quite overwhelming.
I bet.
Otho Kent turns back to you all.
I do not know how you will put Thousand Teeth to rest. That is up to you to decide, and that is part of this test. Should you return alive and with proof that Thousand Teeth is dead, I will have Ashawak accompany you.
Ashawak looks surprised up at the queen.
Of course, my queen.
That would be much appreciated because we have no idea where his lair is. So
Ashawak will guide you there. Ashawak, I have no expectation of you to lay a hand on Thousand Teeth. Merely stay hidden and observe. If they should perish... Go ahead.
I slap Ashwak on the back. Don't worry, buddy. I've got your back.
And the little pseudo-dragon kind of curls up and is like looking at you, and you hear this sort of like frightful little purr as the pseudo-dragon kind of pushes its head up against Ashawak's jawline.
Yes.
I reach out a finger underneath the dragon's chin with my 24 crit on animal handle.
Oh my goodness, yes. The pseudo-dragon sort of retracts for a moment, and then as you extend your finger, they sniff and then lean in and really lean into the scritches. And Oshawott
Don't
just
worry,
kind of
little
looks at
fella. I'll take care of your master. You'll be safe.
They like you.
you.
Of course.
And Otho Kent looks back at you all. So, with these tests in hand, should you be successful, then I will send an ambassador with you back to Saltmarsh to broker an allegiance, an alliance between us and your kind. At the very least, you will be able to prove yourselves, and perhaps we can form an alliance with just us. Do you have any further questions before I send you off? I have more individuals that I need to be speaking with.
I look forward to doing trade with you.
She bows. Go ahead, Aize.
Sorry, wanted to stay on topic here. We're perfectly happy to interrogate the prisoner and put your sacred creature to rest, but we did come here to take out the Sahuaghin. I just wanted to remind you of that.
Of course.
No impertinence implied.
Of course. But I'm afraid this is our way.
And
Go ahead.
and we respect that, my queen. I did have a question. Their friend, Ulrich, the silent one, he was infected earlier in our fight. And unfortunately, my magic could do nothing to heal him.
Volric turns to you and goes, "Ha! It's just a scratch, Aspen. I'm doing... I'm doing... and some black goo kind of comes out of his mouth. And you see a little bit of black tears kind of running down his eye.
Is he turning into one of them? Oh.
You see
How
loud...
do we deal with this?
A loud murmur just courses through the room as everybody starts to look around. Rin and Aize, you hear the phrase "cursed" kind of whispering throughout the room. Otho Kent straightens up. Kapesk seems to be looking very worried back and forth between Volric and the Queen. Volric kind of stumbles down onto his knees, clutching his eye. Otho Kent raises her hands to calm the room.
Volric! You must help him! There's got to be something you can do.
Oshawott turns and looks up.
Yes, Queen Othokent. He saved my life. All of them did. We owe them this at the very least.
Otho Kent raises her hands. Of course. Kapesk, please. What can you do? Can you take Volric off to the Temple of Sahuaghin and see what you can do? Irtos lets out a deep guttural growl.
Queen, no! They cannot set foot within the Temple of Sahuaghin.
They have saved one of our own, Irtos, please. Kapesk kind of...
Yes, a life for a life. Of course.
And they kind of go skittering across the room up towards Volric.
Sethred is very, very concerned. He's obviously built a strong bond with Volric over the time, and he's like a father figure. And he's already lost him once with the crocodile, so I'm actually around him, holding him up, and I look up at Aize. I have no interest in helping out with the prisoner. Can I at least take him with them? And I'll come back to you when he's better.
By all means, I lean towards Volric and say, "Oh, don't worry, old man. I've seen you in worse shape than this. Dead, in fact. And diseased, and cursed, and oozing much worse than this. You and I know that you'll come through this famously well."
I look over to Aspen like, what the hell?
Clutching...
He's right. You'll be all right.
He's clutching his right eye, which, by the way, little bit of retcon. I talked with Eric about this. It was indeed his right eye, the one that is scarred, that got hit. He kind of messed that up a little last episode. So he's clutching his right eye as he kind of is wincing in pain, and then he lowers his hand for a moment, looks at you, Aize, and goes, "Ha! Yes, you speak true." And then he goes, "Ah!" And you see that the eye is starting to like cloud over, and this black tears are starting to pour out around the edges of the eye. Capes quickly starts to usher you, Sethreth, holding
Yeah, I
Ulrich.
pick him up. I carry him out. Lead the way.
All right, so you two go rushing out of the room, and I'm gonna send you off to where Capesk takes you, and then we will we'll resolve that in a second, Sethreth. So everybody else.
I reckon their threat would be useless in the interrogation, so I thought push him out for a minute.
So everybody else, the queen bows and bids you adieu, and Ashwak leads you out of the room. As you exit the room, you see waiting there this like rotund fish creature. It is very strange looking. It has a big rounded head that almost doesn't even have a neck, that just kind of goes down into this big rounded body with almost a little bit of a pot belly, and then kind of trailing out behind it is this big floppy tail. Its feet are ginormous webbed feet. This thing looks so awkward on land as it's kind of waddling down the hall and just standing there waiting. Big old mouth. It's like a big bass's mouth, and it has these little webbed arms, and it's holding a spear, and it has bits of kind of seashells adorning it as armor, and bits of clothing, kind of. It's not really wearing clothing, it's just little bits of armor, and it's standing there and kind of looks at you with these big old eyes off to the side that go blink, and then one of the lizard folk ushers this creature in as it kind of flops into the room, almost like a scuba diver walking with flippers on. It is really awkward as it waddles into the room, and as it enters, the queen it gestures out to the creature and begins to speak to it as the doors close, and you are now standing out in the hallway with Ashwak. Ashwak and that lieutenant are there, and they gesture you down the halls, leading you to a new chamber. Ashwak going,
We'll take you to where the prisoner resides.
One final thing, sorry. There's a lot happening. As you are leaving, the queen does say,
due to the nature of your friend, I suggest you recover here for the evening. We are having a feast this evening in honor of the various races that are forming an alliance with us. Please join us at the very least for this feast.
And then kind of just waits for a response as you're being ushered out.
Yeah, it would be our pleasure.
I look forward to seeing you all there.
And Irtos kind of grumbles as you're being led out of the room and the doors close. All right, so all of you out in the hall, you are led through the winding caverns of the lizard folk lair, again seeing many folk going about their business. You are eventually led to an area where the kind of swampy smell that is intermingled with all the hallways starts to gain a very strong brine salt smell, and you can hear the low, deep rumble of waves in the distance. You come into a room where there are multiple guards standing there. They all kind of snap to attention and look a bit surprised to see you as you are entering, being led by these other two lizard folk. The sergeant bows their head and says, explains why you're here, saying,
they are being brought before the prisoner, the other human.
And they kind of bow and let you through the doors. You are led into this chamber that kind of descends a bit further. It is very damp within, very kind of cold. There's a lot of condensation on the walls, and you can hear that periodic drip of some water source just going bloop, bloop, with the deep rumble of the waves in the distance. As you are let down, you see these various cells before you. Let me quickly find here description. We're at 5 o'clock. Okay. All right. Yes. So you see There are 5 iron-bound doors that are marking off these different cells. The sergeant leads you up to the second door and pops it open. Inside, you hear kind of chains rustling and someone kind of sliding across stone. And as the sergeant gestures to let you into the cell, stepping forward, you all see this, stone cell with a simple straw, or not straw, it looks to be like peat-filled mattress. Like you can see little bits of peat coming out on the sides, this kind of mossy-like substance. And a simple wooden bucket in one corner, and there's a lot of condensation on the walls. And the smell is not great at all as you step into this cell. Crouched in the corner, you do see a human. Let me see here. Oh boy. Where is the person that is in this cell? There we go. Let's see here. Sure. Okay. You see a tall human man with fair skin and kind of dirty blonde hair. They have a little bit of a butt chin, and their face is kind of covered in what look to be acne scars. And they're kind of pushed up into the corner wearing their ratty clothing that looks kind of soiled at this point. And they're just, oh, that is a puppy. Sorry. Really quick, there is a puppy.
Oh.
There is a puppy.
I love the puppy.
Really quick, Jack, what is the puppy's name? Oh, oh my God. Wait, raise the puppy higher. There you go. Oh,
This is Molly.
oh Molly. She's so cute.
Look at you.
All right. Okay, no more I mean, you can keep the puppy, obviously, but I'm gonna get us back to the story. That was, oh, thank you, Jack. That was amazing. That was an incredible, shot of serotonin. All right, so you see this man hunched in the corner looking at you all as you come into the room, and you see their eyes become wide and surprised as you enter the room. What do you all do?
Do we recognize this man? Shifty, either Shifty or myself?
Both of you make history checks.
Hey. 9. No.
You don't recognize him. You don't either, Shifty. No, neither of you recognize this individual.
So he's behind bars?
The door is currently open, so these are iron-bound wooden doors, and the sergeant has opened it and is looking kind of aggressive towards the prisoner. The prisoner is has manacles around their arms and legs, so they're not getting anywhere quick, but the door is just open into the cell.
I will step into the cell and signal archive to float in the middle of the room.
Very well, sir.
Thank you, archive. Very convenient for a light source.
Okay.
Spen, if you'd care to join me in here.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll step into the room.
All right.
I'm going to sneak in as well between their legs because...
I ignore Shifty, and I hope you...
well, really quick. Shifty, are you sneaking into the room?
Well, no, I'm going between their legs.
Oh, okay, yeah. So easy enough.
Because I'm small enough to do that?
Yep. You go in between their legs. All right, so we have Aize, Aspen, Shifty all standing there kind of at the entrance of the room. Rin, do you want to go into the room or kind of stand?
I did say Rin as well.
Rin?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead, Rin, so you enter into the room as well. Wow, I cannot remember. Eloise is going to stay outside. The room is very tight and crowded at this point. So you all enter the room, and this individual is just kind of looking confused around you all. What are you all doing here?
We're here to talk to you. Having a conversation, so to speak.
Life and death as it is. What's your name?
Hold on, I gotta work on this guy's voice. Forgive me, the voice may fluctuate a little. Here we go. You asked what his name is?
I did.
Okay.
My name is Rolf. Have you all come here from, are you part of the Lord's Alliance? Are you brokering some sort of ransom with these beasts?
Entirely possible.
Maybe, perhaps, yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I telepathically link with Shifty.
Okay.
Do you want to talk? Because if you do, I will not say anything. And this will go the way however you want it to do. Yes? You want to talk?
I just have a few questions, I say out loud.
Okay. So go
Because
ahead.
you know that I can mind link with him and pull the information straight out of his head. But that means I have to ask the questions.
Actually, you know, I'm going to go ahead and step over here. We have, and I step next to Aspen. We're just curious onlookers, you know, but it seems you're in a predicament. I think we can help you out.
Good. How much are they asking for to get me out?
Well, that hasn't been decided yet, buddy. You see, we're trying to figure out how you got here.
I was part of a Lord's Alliance patrol, and then I was attacked by these creatures. They came out of the swamp and they slaughtered us.
Hold on 1 second.
Yep.
Can I make an insight check
Yes, you
to see
can.
if that's
Same.
the truth?
Yes, you can. Both of you make insight checks, and Ayize.
I'm going to read his mind.
Okay. Does he make a saving throw?
I can pick up his surface thoughts. I'm not going to probe him yet.
All
I'm
right.
just trying to find the darn action. Sorry, 1 sec.
That
That's
sounds
all
so
right.
naughty.
So you got an 18. You got 13. Okay.
Spellbook, arcane recovery, ritual spells, actions. Why do they put it under? Okay, here we go. I'll display in VTT.
Thank you. Right. Okay. This is telepathic. This is a feat. Okay. And yeah, you do the service level, and then is it if you want to get deeper thoughts, they make a save. Is that right?
Yeah, they'll notice it, but I'm not doing deeper.
Okay.
So
So
when he said we were attacked by lizard men, I want to know what he was thinking on the surface.
surface level, you get the sense that you get fear, and you kind of get very surface level, like, there were so many of them. This wasn't, everything went wrong. Everything's wrong. There were so many of them, and like being very afraid. So you get that.
What was your specific mission? You said you were on patrol, but what was it?
So you asked that. Really quick, Aspen, to resolve your insight. So Shifty, you are trying to read this individual. They look afraid. They look very afraid. Aspen, you're looking at this man's face, and you are a very, you know how to read people, and what you read on his face is that kind of rapid eye movement, and you keep noticing like a tick on his face that is very indicative of somebody who is trying to kind of recite something rehearsed. That's what you get. So you asked that, Ayize. What sorry, you asked what was your mission? We were merely, here goes the accent slipping around. Okay. My name is Rolf.
German.
Yes.
Forget.
It's a German accent. I will do it my best. We were merely on patrol. I was part of the Lord Alliance. We were out in the swamp, and we were on patrol when these beasts, they came out of the muck like horrible monsters. And they slaughtered us. We were merely doing a patrol for the mining operation out of Leylon and Saltmarsh for the Lord's Alliance. Surface level thoughts. Again, these are surface level. So what you get, Ayize, is just everything went wrong. It wasn't supposed to go like this. Everything went wrong. And that's kind of what you
I
get.
will reach into my cloak and I will dig around in the pockets and I pull out a pouch of tobacco and a pipe.
Okay.
I As he's doing that, I want to go sit next to Rolf.
Okay, you
I
sit
get
down.
real nervous when she does that.
I don't have my weapon. I can't do anything to him.
So you sit
You're
down
full
next
of
to
crap.
Rolf.
I saw you pull an axe out of the astral plane. You're not gonna.
Aspen, what do you do as you sit down?
Yeah, I kind of place a hand on his shoulder. Ralph, you don't have to be afraid of us. We are here to get the truth. My friend is only asking you these questions because apparently it seems that this is all a bit of a misunderstanding.
Yes, perhaps it is. But why won't they let me go? They don't seem to understand. They seem like stupid beasts.
Well, for one, that's why they won't let you go. You keep calling them stupid beasts. That's not, if you want. I look to Aize. If you want to be let go, then tell us what we need to know, and we will arrange for you to be taken back to Saltmarsh safely.
All right, well, what do you want to know? I've told you everything. I was on patrol with Mr. Lord's Alliance, and then we were attacked. What else do you want to know?
Now I probe him.
Okay, so he makes a saving throw?
Yep.
Okay, what kind of save?
Oh, it's on there, I think.
Oh, sorry. Let's see. I think it's I imagine it's wisdom.
It's a detect thought spell. So,
detect thought spell. Okay. Here we go.
I'll display that in VTT. There you go.
Got it.
Now this lasts up to
wisdom save. Okay.
Wisdom save. DC is 16.
16. Okay, here we go. Got a 9. So you probe deeper. And this is as he's talking about. He's telling his story, right? He's telling the story of being attacked and asking, what else do you want to know? Those deeper thoughts you start to pull out from the recesses of his mind are I can't believe they sent us on this mission. They must have known we were going to die. I can't believe they've done this. We were merely supposed to provoke them. That was all we were meant to do. We were told it was going to be easy. They gave us this clothing in order to help us. Why did it all go wrong? Those cursed people, I think they sent us here to die. That's what you get as he's telling the story.
I get up close to him.
Oh, please.
Wait, hold on. Shifty, hold on. Really quick resolve with Aize and then Shifty. So Aize first, what were you going to say?
All right, I will pass this information on to the rest of the group telepathically.
Got it. So that is distributed telepathically. Shifty, you now know this information. What do you want to do?
I come up to him really close. I said, we actually came from Saltmarsh by orders of Captain Eliander. Whispering this to his face, like eye to eye. And I say, we came on orders from Captain Eliander. And I whisper, there was a secret mission. You did accomplish it, right?
So you whisper that. Make a deception check with advantage, Shifty. As you're whispering that, so you got it with advantage. You get an 18.
18.
I am going to actually roll a contested check here. Okay.
Whoa.
You and that's the one thing is a bummer about Roll20 here. I think there's a way I can hide this from y'all, but now you see the stat block for this guy. But whatever. Anyways, when Shifty's saying this, Aize, you're still in the deep thoughts of Rolf. You hear, who the hell is Captain Eliander? I don't know who that is, but he seems to know. Okay, just play along, and then you hear, oh, he's trying to play me. Okay, what am I gonna do next? Let's see here. So you say secret mission?
I did say.
He goes.
A secret mission, yes.
He goes. A secret mission. I was merely on patrol. I don't know. Captain Eliander. Yes, Captain Eliander sent me on this patrol, but we were just merely meant to go on patrol and just make sure there was no threats to the canal. Aize, go ahead.
I'll stick the pipe in his mouth.
Okay. What, excuse me, I did not ask for a smoke.
And I close his nose.
Okay.
I pull the pipe out of his mouth. And, or no, I just leave the pipe in there and feel his nose. Actually, Aspen, could you do that? I'm weak.
I was about to say.
I'd actually get
Yeah. Okay. So he starts to resist.
Anyone do this because I'm physically weak, and he might actually just shake it loose.
So
please just.
Yeah, I will help him.
Okay, I'm gonna call this as essentially a grapple check. So make an athletics check for me, and then and you make it with advantage since you're both trying to get this pipe in his mouth. He's gonna do acrobatics to try to.
21.
Okay, yeah, you hold it in his mouth. The smoke is inhaled. He's kind of coughing. You see little bits of smoke coming out between his lips. Go ahead.
I'm just like whispering, shh, let it happen. Just like rubbing the side of his face, just let it happen.
All right, he's got the pipe.
I want you to not think about the person who gave the order to go on this mission. I want you to completely forget him.
This I would like you to make. Let's see, how can I do this? He's gonna, because okay, this guy, from your thoughts, you're picking up. This guy is kind of well trained.
He's a pro.
And
yeah, I get it.
I'm gonna do a deception check. He's gonna do a deception check, and I want you to do a contested roll. This would be persuasion. I think makes sense.
Oh.
I know, but you are trying to get into his thoughts. Yes, Aspen.
May I help him?
Yeah. What do you do to help?
When he says, try not to think about the person that gave you the mission, I think I would kind of force him
I know
to
what
look.
I can do. Here, I've got an idea. How about I tell you, you say it, not me.
Well, hold on. Aspen had it. I want to hear Aspen's idea. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say I kind of face him to look towards me.
Okay. So
as he hears, I use his voice. So, but I'm holding eye contact with him, and I say, "Yeah, you should really not think about your boss."
Okay. So you can both of you can roll a persuasion.
I'll let her roll.
Go ahead. Roll with advantage, Aspen.
21.
21. I'm gonna roll a deception from this guy. Real quick, Tabletop Misfits. Volric Eric is on vacation, so Volric is out right now dealing with something. We'll get to that.
We only have our players die once.
Yeah. So as you are looking into his eyes kind of go wide for a moment. What you don't see, Aspen, but probably Shifty spots it for just a moment. He kind of goes wide-eyed as you say this to him, Aspen. There's just a brief flash in your pupils of almost like fire, just, and then it subsides. And Aspen, you hear a faint voice of your mother in your head. Good daughter, I'm always here with you. And you see him kind of going wide-eyed, and in that moment he coughs, and and an image forms before you. It's interesting. What you see is not a face. You see this image of a serpent with wings kind of form up in front of him. I would like Shifty to make a history check with advantage, and Aize, you can make just a straight history check. It's going to be really high DC for you, Aize. For Shifty, it's much lower.
I got a 15.
15? Okay. Wow. Okay. So Shifty, you know this symbol. This is indeed probably the boss in a very, abstract way of this individual. This is the symbol of the Zentarum. You as well, Aize, recognize it as the symbol of the Zentarum.
You doing the job for the mob?
Do you say that?
Is it? I think it's appropriate.
Okay.
They are what I recall they are. They are kind of like, they are
sort
they're
of.
the mob.
Yeah, more or less.
They're like
They
the
are.
mafia. Yeah, they are definitely like the mafia.
They are like the biggest criminal organization in Faerun, and yeah, they tend to operate in the shadows. And there have been cases where they've been able to manipulate like the politics of a city and get into positions of power and essentially become the ruling class of a city just through deception and treachery and cloak and daggers type shit.
Send a telepathic message. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead. I send a telepathic message to Aspen and saying, ask him if he knows why the Zentara have it in for the lizard folk.
Can I roll something?
Yeah.
Whether it be because I already have an idea myself, but I'm guessing my character may or may not an
Okay.
intelligence or wisdom check, maybe.
For what are you?
I'm thinking I'm connecting some dots right now in my own head, based on being my own background and the Zentrum, and he mentioned clothing.
You wanna? So what is it you wanna try to connect the dots of why they're doing this? Is that what you're?
Yeah, perhaps the Zentrum are trying to create a bad image for the Lord's Alliance and be the side of Saltmarsh.
I mean, you can come to that conclusion. You don't have to roll for that. If you think Shifty would come to that conclusion, by all means. That is.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, besides saying you did it for the mob, I do pass on the telepathic information to Rin, who wouldn't be aware of this, and Aspen, and actually Shifty too, because I don't know that he's on the know.
Okay. So you all are aware of this information. Go ahead, Aspen.
You donned the armor of the Lord's Alliance, but yet you work for the Zentaurum. That's interesting.
He goes steely-faced and quiet.
Oh, you thought we wouldn't find out? How cute. What were you doing here? And please don't make me ask again.
I saw that.
He just stares at you, steely-faced.
Oh, you need a little motivation. I kind of snap out my my axe, and I take my other hand, and I begin to load it up with inflict wounds.
Okay.
Now, my friend here told me that I was not allowed to kill you.
Aspen, roll an intimidation check. You are, now keep in mind, if you're gonna imbue your axe, this is how we've decided how you cast inflict wounds. This is almost like holding an action. So if you don't expend the spell within 6 seconds, it will just fizzle. But as a result of doing this, I will give you advantage on this roll because you are expending a spell slot to like make the axe look way more powerful. So go ahead, make an intimidation roll with advantage.
I'm gonna try to stand up and like, whoa, wait, Aspen.
Okay, so you're there like trying to
like
22. Okay.
From below her.
He what's your modifier again to intimidation?
My modifier
Plus
is
6?
a +6.
Okay.
Yes.
He looks at you.
I ain't speaking.
Oh, sorry. German. My name is Rolf.
Last words.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you anything. If I were to speak anything, it would be far worse than what you would do to me now. I would welcome a quick death over what they would do.
And he closes his eyes. Aspen, what do? You have, I'm going to give it like 3 seconds here before the spell fizzles.
I take
and
the
Shifty's
axe.
going like this.
He maybe.
You know what? You caught me in a rather good mood today. I guess I'll let you live.
Okay. The spell fizzles.
I turn around quickly and I'm kind of a little bit. Shifty looks a little bit like almost springy now, like a little bit excited, like he caught onto something, like because he just goes.
I send a message.
How long have you been operating? How long have you been operating with the Zentrum here? Are you with the locals in their struggle?
Shifty, I'm going to give you one more persuasion roll. After this point, this man is basically willing to die. So, okay. He just stares at you, quiet and cold. So, for all intents and purposes, y'all can poke and prod and try to get information out of him, but he's not going to relieve it in a normal way of speaking.
I send a message to Ayuze. He's not going to talk.
The duration on the mind probe has expired. I won't be able to do it to him again until tomorrow. But I believe we have enough information now to know that under no circumstances should we let him go.
No, I think he should rot here.
But I am still curious as to know why the mob wants to take out the lizard man. I mean, there's something here.
It has to be. The Zentorum don't do anything without reason. And I guess...
And the reason is always profit.
Once we get back to Saltmarsh, I can put out feelers and see what we can learn about this.
I would recommend that you follow the money. I mean, they're not fanatics. They're very pragmatic. I mean, they'll only do it if it's a criminal enterprise and they stand to make a profit from it.
So
anyhow,
you're right.
All right, Master Spy, we're going to leave you here to rot for now, and but we might come back later to have a chat with you. Rest assured, we will ask the lizard men not to eat you.
He looks...
Surely they can eat limbs, right? I mean, if we come back and he just so happen to miss a foot or two.
As you leave the room and the sergeant is closing the door, Ashwak snakes his head in and kind of looks at Rolf and goes, and then snakes back out. All right. Next, as you leave, we are going to.
This has been very entertaining to watch.
Yeah. So as we leave, we cut back, and we're about to go on break here, but I just want to quickly kind of get through this next part. We cut back to Sethreth with Volric. Volric is writhing in pain, Sethreth, as you are led into this large temple space. Let me find this here.
Are they also overly against me entering the temple?
Kapesk lets you in because you are holding Volric.
I'll carry him to wherever they say, and if
yeah.
they want me to hold him down or whatever, I'll do whatever they instruct.
So as you come into the room, you see other lizard folk were in the temple at the moment. There appears to be an older lizard folk that was giving some kind of like a ceremony to a couple of younger look to be shamans in training, something to that effect. And Capes waves them out of the room and pulls aside that other shaman and gestures them over, speaking in Draconic so you can't understand them. And then Capes looks at you and gestures towards this great big altar before you. The room itself, as you come into it, there is this stone altar, and you see the stone altar. It has this mighty lizard folk warrior with behind it this like radiating Hydra symbol behind them. And then there is a stone kind of altar where it looks like you can place offerings and things of that nature. You do see some offerings on there. It looks to be like animal bones and some meat and other food. Capes and the other shaman quickly move that to the side, and then Capes gestures to you, Sethreth, and says,
"Place him down on the altar."
Put him down as gently as I can.
Yep, place him down. You are surrounded by, on the walls, you actually see what look to be beautifully woven almost tapestries, but they are not made from, like cotton or other fibers. They are incredibly intricate weavings made with like various reeds and plants from the marsh. And they appear to be dyed in various colors. So there's all these bright blues and greens with some splashes of red. And there's actually a really pleasant smell in the air. The tapestries themselves show like a marine fresco of lizard folk warriors and things of that nature. So Kapesk lays down, or you lay down Volric. Kapesk and this other shaman kind of slink up next to Volric, and they both get down on their knees and close their eyes and place their scaly hands down on Volric and begin to chant in Draconic.
Well, if Ulrich's not in pain or squirming, I'll step back and give them a bit of space.
Sethreth, as you step back, you watch them casting whatever ritual they may be casting. You see them grabbing like various plants from the marshes and squishing them up in there. You see Kapesk reach over and scoop a handful of really finely, you think it's sand, but as the light catches it, there's this brilliant sparkle to it. And he sort of sprinkles it over Volric's body. As all this is happening, Sethreth, you hear a voice slowly coming into your mind. But it's like multiple voices almost, like an amalgamation of voices that coalesces into one. And it says,
"Look at that one there. What a weak vessel. Couldn't even hold his own amongst those slippery serpents. Wouldn't you agree, Sethreth? Blood tongue."
No, he's my friend.
You hear the voice sort of shift into another voice, a different personality.
Friend! Yes, friend! Miev the Filthy doesn't think this was a friend of yours. They question you all the time. They never let you leave. Wouldn't you agree, Sethreth?
Shut up. Get out of my head.
Another voice comes through.
Surely, you haven't seen the signs, Sethreth. You should be the one leading them. What are you doing, following like a lamb?
I was bow to no one. Who are you?
And then the other voice comes through.
We've seen you bow to many. We saw you placating amongst these inferior folk around you. How could you betray your people like that? Yes! How could you, Sethreth Bloodtongue?
Who are you? And get out of my head!
You don't recognize us, Sethreth. That's a shame. We are with you always. We are Gogol Morva.
You recognize that as in Orcish, Spirit Breaker.
We are resting between your shoulders now.
As you touch it, there's kind of this electricity at your fingertips and this warmth that courses through your arm. You see little tendrils of red sort of arc off and go into your hand.
You don't trust us, Sethreth? We've given you so much.
Gogo Orla. That is your name. It is. Now I know. But who are you and what is inside you is the question. Who are you that speak to me in my mind?
I am Mieth the Filthy. I am Onka Iron Tusk. And I am Rook Flesh Ripper.
We are you, Sethreth? We are your family.
No. It can't be. My family's dead.
So you think, but we've been with you all along. Your father has left you with us to guide you. Surely we've never led you astray.
How can I trust you? How do I not know you're just my mind playing tricks on me?
Use your eyes, Sethreth. Did you not just see what happened when you touched us? You saw the power. You felt it. If you're willing, we can give you more.
Yes, more. We can.
Yes, more power. Let us in and you can be a great warrior. It is your path. It is your right.
Not now. This is not the place or time. Get out of my head.
As you wish, Sethreth. But know that we are here. We are always here to guide you. And as the voices dissipate into a cascading sound of whispers and echoes, your mind is clear. And with that, let's take a quick break. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Sethreth.
I just look around and I'm like, all of a sudden I'm like, was I speaking out loud or was I talking in my head?
The two shamans seem to be focused and not even paying attention. And the two younger lizard folk as well didn't seem to notice.
So I'm like, okay, I must be losing my bloody mind and I'm happy to stop there.
And as you kind of relax, you see the two lizard folk finish their ritual, and Capes kind of pauses for a moment and then lowers one of his little like lizard ear holes down to Volric's chest and listens. Kind of rises up and the tongue sort of flicks out, the big bulbous eyes darting around. Looks back towards you, kind of skitters up to you.
We were able to stop whatever is corrupting this individual. But something seems to have awakened. Something is deeper within him. Something is trying to rip his soul back. There was an older curse on this man.
Yes.
We will need to watch after him for a while. We seem to have at least slowed the process, but it has weakened him. He likely won't be recovered for at least a day.
Can you help him though? Do you think you can get rid of it?
No, we do not have the powerful enough magic for that. We have slowed it, though. It is tempered. It is incubating.
Do you think if we can destroy Thousand Teeth that it will help him?
It may help. It seems that whatever the corruption is in Thousand Teeth activated something older within Volric.
Okay.
And with that, as we kind of fade to black here, we're gonna go to break, for reals this time. All right. So, do any of you have any announcements you'd like to make, or shall I send us over to our break screen for a bit and we all take care of ourselves? Yeah.
Yeah. I got nothing new to do for the business, so I'm happy to do that.
Okay, great. So we're just gonna go on a quick break. We'll see you all back here really soon because I definitely want to. Yeah, I want. We all want to see the feast. I think maybe yes, we want to see some lizard folk feasting. But anyways, we'll see you. We'll see you back here in a bit. Be right back. And. everybody, and welcome back to Dress to Quest. I don't think we have any announcements tonight. Are we good? Okay, let's just jump right back into it. So, as we left off, you all had just had these various interactions. You discovered that this human that was claiming to be with the Lord's Alliance is in fact part of the Zentarum. You also, Sethreth, you saw that they were able to stop whatever this curse may be with Volric, but you had a very strange interaction with voices in your head that claimed to be your family? It's just... with that, though, you all eventually reconvene. You are led to kind of temporary quarters where you will be staying. Oshawott leads you into what appears to be a really big kind of barracks that's filled with hammocks that are stretched out throughout this place. As you come in, you do see there are a couple lizard folk kind of lounging in these hammocks, and they kind of jolt up and look a bit confused. Oshawott quells their fears and explains what's going on. They look back at you and go,
"This is the best accommodation we have for your kind. This is the barracks where I reside. You'll have lots of company tonight, but we have a few extra hammocks since we've lost many to Thousand Teeth and the Sahuaghin."
How high are these things?
Yeah, that's a good question. They are...
I'm only 3 foot tall.
You have to...
looking at it dismayedly.
You have to kind of either jump up to like grab on and crawl inside, or get lifted into one. These are designed for lizard folk. So
Sethwith, when he meets up with you, he's acting very distant and looks stressed and withdrawn. And when you get back in this room, he's pacing back and forth, pacing, ignoring you, pacing.
I'm pulling out my bedroll and I go, Sethreth, he is still alive, right? Volric?
What? What did you
Volric,
say?
he's still alive? We didn't lose him, did we? It looks like you
Yes.
saw his ghost or something already.
Yes, Volric is alive, but it's not good. Easy. They said that it's like a curse, and
Again?
they feel that it's attached to the old one, and it makes it stronger. Maybe.
I thought we got rid of the old one.
Apparently, it's still some of it there, and it's made this more easier to get in him. Maybe I don't understand the words fully, but they think it's possible that if we can kill the 1,000 teeth, whatever it's called, that it might help break that part of the curse. But at the moment, I think they said it's going to take a day or two of them to stabilize and maybe put it on hold. But we've got to get out there and kill this creature now. Tomorrow, we got to go. We've got to kill it. I think it's going to...
I swear Volric is the most unlucky man in the world. You know? Man's like a curse magnet. Once again, we have to kill something big, monstrous, and scaly so that he doesn't get consumed by it.
I recommend if everyone has anything they need to do, make sure it's done before dawn. I want to get on our way. I don't like seeing Volric like this. And then I'm pacing again, withdrawn again.
Oh, I reach into my pouch and I pull out a flask and I just wiggle it and say, huh?
I reach out because people probably in the group have noticed since Diora has vanished, he's kind of picked up the bottle a lot. He's hit the booze and he hasn't been himself. And he reaches out of habit and he stops. Touches the side of his head. No, that would not be good for me right now. Thank you, but not right now.
Sure?
I need a clear head.
Okay, screw the top and I take a swig. And,
I'll take some. I mean, I'm not getting the swamp fever. I'm not getting the swamp fever.
And he starts pacing again.
That's a good thing. I meant to ask you something anyway. I hand him the flask.
Ah,
You seem like a shifty
thank you.
person. Not to mention, your name is Shifty.
That's what some people say. But
You
you know,
happen to know, and I reckon maybe you would happen to know. Zentrali. No, Zentradi. I keep saying, is it Zentradi? And
the Zentrum. You mean the Black Network? Yeah, yeah. What about him?
Do you happen to know if they operate in Saltmarsh?
That's really tough here. As I give it back to you,
Randy.
and I roll a history check, Mr. DM.
I would give
Would I
this
just
to you.
say, I already know it?
They don't operate, as far as you know, they don't operate in Saltmarsh.
Nah. I've been in Saltmarsh for years, and there's no talk of the Black Network being there. That I'm not so sure they'd be welcome, maybe, but not. They always tend to do what the Lord's Alliance does, but on a flip coin.
They manipulate it. They try to manipulate the Lord's Alliance. They manipulate a lot of countries. They are, their finger is in a lot of pies in the East as well.
But it sounds like to me, like if they are getting involved, the way I see it, it sounds like they were trying to dress up, trying to cause a provocation between the Lord Alliance to maybe stop this whole, just stopping the whole clearing out the land and going straight to the coast. Maybe they're on the side of Saltmarsh group. It'd be kind of crazy, but I look up at Aspen.
Do anything out of altruism unless they're making money, which means, well, until we know their motivations, there's a number of different reasons they could be doing it. One, there's something here that they want, and they want the lizard men gone. Two, as you surmised, they might be trying to provoke a war between the lizard men and the Lord's Alliance. Three, someone paid them a lot of money to provoke a war between the lizard men and the Lord's Alliance. But, the important thing is we can tell the Queen, this isn't the Lord's Alliance. They didn't send those men into the swamp to fight you. And you're right, they were sent into the swamp for a raid. He was not on patrol. That was a lie. The other thing about him is that he's a professional. That man in there is extremely dangerous. Once we sussed out exactly who he was, it's very obvious that this man is trained in tradecraft, skilled, an operative, an agent.
I could try to speak to him sometime in our own language if he's still alive when we get back. What was his name again, though? Hans or something?
It was Hans, but that's not his real name.
It was Rolf.
Oh, Rolf, right. It was something northern. We could interrogate him again, but again, it will be a lot harder. This isn't like mind probing a smuggler is one thing, but mind probing a trained spy is very, very different. Plus, he's on his guard now. But, well, that's for another day. The priority right now is, I believe, and as Sethrath's pacing over there, has ascertained, is to dispose of that creature.
All right, well, I think I pull out my bedroll. It's like, it's been a long day and these feet are sore. And like, I don't wear boots, obviously, since I'm a halfling. So my feet, I'm trying to like clean them a little bit if I can with using prestidigitation and just start cleaning myself up and then look sparkly clean, get in my pajamas here, and I just roll up into the bedroll for a halfling.
Okay.
I was hoping those got lost along the way. Ugh. All right then. You need help getting up there, Shifty?
No, I pull out a bedroll. Like I have a little sleeping bag.
Oh, you don't
want
to?
Caterpillar.
Okay.
Oh no, I don't want to be stuck up there. Something comes in and tries. I can't do anything from up there. I want to be on the floor where my feet belong on the ground.
All right. So as Shifty gets snuggled in, Rin, you wanted to speak with Sethrath?
Yeah. So assuming he's still pacing,
Mm-hmm.
Rin just kind of walks over and looks up. Uh, Sethrith, of course, I never liked the ways you like to cope, but something about you wanting a clear head is concerning to me.
What is it, little one?
I can't remember the last time I've seen you like this. Yes, it's Volric, but something else too.
Yeah, I guess questioning who I am, my past. And I'm, of course, worried about Ulrich, who you're even closer with, and lots of things are on my mind. I guess I've dropped my guard since Diora was taken from us. And I think I've just realized that maybe I'm slipping a bit within myself. And I need to refortify myself and get back to being focused. I miss her terribly, but I wish she was here. I feel she would understand me if she was. But thank you, Rin. It means a lot that you've said this, that you're here. I care about you, just like I do Volric. And Aizer, he's becoming a good brother too. The other two, I look over at them. They humor me, I guess you could say at this point.
They are
Hopefully,
sure our pair.
Yes, they are. I don't fully trust them. They are definitely talented. And the Axe one, I find her interesting. But until they prove themselves, I have your back. And always will, little one. Thank you. Maybe I need to rest and have a more clear head in the morning. And I don't want to lag, take any time. We've got to get onto this as quick as possible.
Of course. You just...
He finds a bunk that he... Hang on, they're pretty tall, the lizard people, right?
Yeah, they fit you fine.
Nice. I probably won't sleep well, if much at all, but I'll act like I am.
So, just real quick to kind of remind everyone, it is like approaching late afternoon at this point, and you were invited to the dinner. But
no.
if y'all are, but if you all are, no, it's fine. If you all are laying down, you could still recover. If everybody wants to take a short rest, if you have anything that you get from that, feel free to do so. But yeah, Sethrith, Rin, was that? Are you? Sethrith walks away and lays down. Okay.
And I just say that I was silently listening. I was facing Shifty, but I was listening to their conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. So you pick up on this, and then Sethrith goes and walks over and lays down in one of the hammocks. As you all kind of settle in here and sort of think about the events of this past day and start to recover, the door eventually opens and Ashwak comes in once more, looking around the room, sees Shifty like snuggled up in his pajamas in the little bedroll.
Shifty's actually just under the covers eating like on rations and nuts and stuff that he collected with him.
Ashwak cocks their head and looks over.
I've come to inform you that dinner will be soon. If you wish to join the feast, I've also brought this for you. And
they pull out from behind their back a large sack that you recognize, and open it, and you see all of your weapons within.
The Queen is willing to let you have these back for the duration of your stay.
And
sets, pass the test, guys. Look at that.
Sets the sack down and lets you all take your weapons back. They do look around.
Of course, we would prefer if you were to join us for dinner, not armed to the teeth. But we cannot stop you.
I will take one dagger.
Okay.
Cut
And then they kind of give a little bow and they say,
I will escort you to the feast hall when time is ready. You have about
they seem to kind of look in the air searching for the word.
an increment of time. It's 60 of the small ones until dinner time. How do you say that word?
Do you mean minutes?
60 minutes. Yeah. Ha. Still learning. Saurif gives us lessons. Those of us that are interested. I'll be back in 60 minutes.
And then they slink out of the room. So, we have about an hour before dinner. Is there anything y'all want to accomplish before then?
I
I'm
will.
getting dressed up like a captain.
You're dressed up like a captain. Okay, so Shifty is dressed up like a
myself up,
captain.
Okay.
Aize?
I was going to dress up, but not like a captain.
All right.
I pull out my formal stuff and use a bunch of prestidigitation spells.
Okay.
And, just look presentable.
Thrith uncharacteristically he unties the axe, but he puts it back on its back mount, and he's not. Usually, it's always in hand. He's released it, but put it back on the back. So
Okay. And Rin?
sitting, waiting.
Yeah.
I imagine that she'll just have it on her items back on her back.
Okay.
And just dressed in her regular clothing.
All right. And then Aspen, do you do anything in preparation?
Yes, I wanted to talk to Eloise.
Yeah.
And check on her, see how she was doing.
Sure. Yeah. You can see that she's kind of sitting. She's sort of sitting on the edge of one of these hammocks, just gently swaying, almost like a child on a swing. And she's just looking down at her hands, and you see she's just fiddling with the symbol of Torm in her hands.
Something troubles you. Are you okay?
Oh, Aspen. Just wish my brother was here. He would be so thrilled. We used to talk about stuff like this. You know, being in a strange place, surrounded by strange people, and dogs, and hoping to, just learning about the world, experiencing it. Not much happens in Tribor. Sure, there's always the danger of the orc tribes or goblinoids or bandits, things like that, but it's different.
Do you mind if I sit with you for a moment? I want to tell you a story about where I come from, my home.
No, of course.
Do you know Celestial?
Good question. Hold on. Check something here. A little bit. I've read the scriptures as best I can, but I can probably understand.
I just gently grab her hands and place them in my own. I have it on good faith that your brother is in a pretty amazing realm. My home,
I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm not original. I was not born here on the material plane. I come from Mount Celestia. You are the first person outside of someone very dear to me that knows this.
Are are,
Uh,
you are
uh,
from the realm of the gods?
yes, my father is Torm. I have two older siblings. I am divine energy at its core.
Oh my god.
So I want you to know that your brother is in a beautiful place right now. And I know it's so sad. I know it's sad. I know you're hurting, but
You've been there? You're from there? You've seen it?
yes, a room full with golden light.
I I I I guess there was a part of me that wasn't quite sure if it was real.
I just kind of sweet like place my hand on her cheek if she allows me to,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of get her to focus on me. I want to keep that same eye contact that I had earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Darling, it's always been real. And I promise you, Torm is looking down on you right now. And he can tell how much you're hurting. But this is a part of life. And I know you will rather have your brother here with you. But when you get there one day, you'll be happy because you'll know how beautiful it is. And you two, you'll get to be together again.
Thank you for sharing this with me.
I noticed how silent you were, and unfortunately, that it was due to us not being able to come to your aid like we would for one of us. I apologize for that.
There's no need to apologize. I no, I am no. You all have your own lives. You're all dealing with something great right now, and I'm very I'm very thankful to be here to to support in this. I what you've told me makes me so certain that I'm on the right path. That Torm is here with me. Torm is guiding me. I can't help but notice, though, that you said you haven't told many people of this.
It's not something that I'm proud of admitting. It's actually very painful for me to discuss.
Why? Why are you not proud of being a child of Torm? I don't understand.
Darling, that's a conversation for a more private setting.
Oh, yes, of course. I will keep this between us.
And I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm assuming this means that you can't go home.
Not yet, but I'll figure out a way. After all, I'm sorry, after all, he is the hand of righteousness.
Yes.
So I assume he's going to figure out how to make what happened right.
Yes. He will.
So,
He will. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. I really can't thank you enough. Thank you.
I just give her a hug, and
She hugs
as
back.
I lean in, yeah, as I lean in to whisper to her, if if you ever need anything, please come to me.
I will. And with that, as that conversation resolves, I'm gonna assume that this was a private conversation. If anybody was trying to listen in, I will have you make a perception check with a pretty high DC. So if you wanted to try to be listening in, I will grant you that. But I know that Aspen was trying to keep this very private, so I'm going to make this a high DC. But if nobody is, if nobody is Aize going to try to listen in? Okay, go ahead, Aize, make a perception check. Very high DC. This is I'm keeping this for the sake of Aspen. Yeah, you don't, Aize. You do not hear anything. You just see them conversing. Sorry. So, with that, as your rest comes to a conclusion, Ashawak returns and leads you all to the feast hall, which I need to find on this ginormous map because it is gigantic. Here it is. And I will move you all there, and I'll let our audience see as well, so that we can all kind of be on the same page here. So, you enter into the feast hall. Let's see here. I'm looking for...
As Shifty walks in, there's like a sound of like little horns like announcing my arrival from prestidigitation. And there's probably a waft of perfume coming off of me from also another prestidigitation that I did.
Oh my goodness.
I look almost sparkly clean. My very thin mustache is here with a little triangle here, and I have a hat with a feather in it.
Yes.
And kind of a plumed white shirt.
Okay.
And a nice big old buckle on my belt. And yeah, I come in very flamboyantly, like in front of everybody else. Like I make sure I'm in the front of the line.
All right, awesome.
Which I think I get an eye roll from Vorik. Or no, he's not there. Never mind.
No, he's not there. So you all are led into the feast hall. Before you see a massive set of tables stretching out, and at the head of the table you see Otho Kent sitting there with her beautiful red plumage coming out on her shoulder pads. She has an additional back piece now that fans out behind, framing her beautifully, yellow and kind of dark green scales behind a frame of red feathers. She rests there at the head of the table, sees you all enter, and you don't really see a smile, as it's hard for lizard folk to produce human expressions. But her eyes kind of, narrow, and she nods and gestures her hand towards a table up towards the front where you can see the strange fish person is sitting there, the big kind of bulbous fish-like creature. You see that hobgoblin-looking creature sitting there looking kind of grumpy and mean. And sitting even further along, you see what looks to be a humanoid woman with blue skin, and at first, Rin, you maybe think, oh, it's a sea elf, but you look and you see that the hair as well is kind of blue, and the around the ears they're more webbed-like and fish-like, and you do see the prominent gills around the neckline, and as you follow the body line down, you see where the legs would be curl into a large, like almost like dolphin-like tail, or a fish-like tail. It's like scaled, and she's sitting there kind of coiled up on the bench, looking kind of uncomfortable, as these benches are not designed for her body. Same with the other fish creature looks a little awkward sitting on this bench. But Othokent gestures for you to sit. There are many available seats up towards the front, where her and her council currently reside, where you can see Kapesk, Irtos, and Sauriv.
Shifty scrambles over to go with the merwoman.
Okay, so you go sit next to the merfolk. And the rest of you, go ahead and place yourselves wherever you want to be on this map. And we will commence the feast.
Awkwardly climb up onto the bench next to her.
Hey.
I will sit
First time
wherever
here?
Eloise is sitting.
You guys see where Eloise is sitting? Okay, Eloise will sit probably next to Shifty, feeling a little out of place. Ashwak will sit with Rin. Shifty, you climb up on the bench. And Aize, where would you like to sit? Where would you like to sit? Where would you like to sit?
Well, I thought I'd get someone to come over here and shit on my lap.
Oh no! Oh no! All right, where are you gonna sit, Sean Connery?
I wanted to get close to Her Majesty, but
There is one spot.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would say that you could, like, even though the bench doesn't extend in the picture there, you could sit there. We'll say that that's fine.
I can sit over here?
Right here, yes, you can sit right here.
Okay.
All right, so you all gather in and take your places. You are kind of broken up a little, so you kind of your group gets split as there are these other creatures surrounding you. You see various other lizard folk starting to spill into the room as well and fill out the other tables. The food before you is a crazy display of, honestly, most of it looks to be like big slabs of raw fish. There's like multiple slabs of raw fish spread out on these various platters. They are adorned with various seaweeds. There are some that look to have been almost like lightly steamed fish dishes. And then there are, even next to the big like fish-like creature, the bulbous fish-like creature, there's a massive bowl that looks to be like a intricate seaweed salad that's like spread out in this big bowl. But it is all very heavily seafood themed. Up towards the front where the queen is, you can see there are some what look to be big frog legs that have been cooked and seasoned. There are big bowls of stew, and there's just this variety of the raw seafood and these like swamp dishes that are very like hearty stew like dishes. All right, so you all sit down. Shifty, yeah, you climb up next to the merfolk, this woman, this mer woman. And what were you doing?
I kind of climb up, like, up by my stomach and kind of get my feet over and come up and like, hey, first time here?
I've been here for a number of days.
I'm the captain.
Clearly. And she kind of pulls over a bowl of what looks to be multiple chunks of raw fish, and she takes this like fork and starts to pick them out and eat it.
Can I send a message to Shifty?
Ooh, frog legs.
Shifty, if you're gonna flirt, at least be good at it.
Oh,
I drop the frog leg back on the plate.
And
I just kind of give a look over Aspen, like.
And I just get rid. Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, she continues to eat her food. Do any of you, anybody else? Do anybody want to do anything while you sit down?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, Aize.
I park next to this giant fishman and I turn to him and I say, "Sprechen Sie kommend."
I speak a little common.
Oh my
What is
good-
your name?
My name is Aize. And I am a
Aize.
And you are?
I am Giril. Giril.
Garil. And you are?
I am Giril. What are you asking? That's my name.
I was curious about your species.
No. I'm Lokata. That's what it is called in the common tongue.
And I snap open my physical copy of Archive, conjure up a quill, and say, if you don't mind, I'd like to take some notes.
This is...
I realize that Garil sounds kind of similar to Archive. I didn't mean for that. But Archive goes,
Oh, yes, sir, of course. Look at this fascinating creature. Your book kind of sounds like me.
I think you sound like my book. But that's fine. Here, talk to it.
and Archive starts to go,
Well, hello there, sir. I am Archive. I am Garil. I've never met a book that can talk before.
all right. Aize, so you are having this conversation with Garil. Anybody else?
I would
Zethris
like
is
to.
just...
Oh, go ahead.
I'll be very quick. Zethris is just eating like a pig, just chowing down, because in his mind, got to fill that body full of energy. We've got a big day coming up, got to smash some stuff, so he's
Amazing.
not talking to me.
Awesome.
I was gonna say it. I would like to talk to Sephiroth.
Okay, yeah, so you turn to Sethra.
It's like it's fate that it just so happened that we're right across the table from each other. So, Sephiroth, you might want to slow down. You know, choking is still very dangerous, right?
Gonna take more than a bone to kill me, lass.
I overheard your conversation earlier with Ren.
Bet you did.
I'm telling you about it. If I wanted to hide it, I wouldn't have said anything at all. And I come to confirm you have every right not to trust us.
Trust
I
me,
mean, we
try.
are new.
Exactly.
We are new to your group, and you seem to be very, what's the word? Affected by whatever happened before you got here.
What do you mean?
I've noticed, and this is not the first time, you on the ship, and even today, I understand that Ulrich is not well, and you look up to him.
Well, done a lot for me. Looked out for me, and we've fought side by side numerous times. A brother in arms is a brother in heart for me. More like a father in his case, being an old fart. But yeah, I look up to him.
I think you mean more like a grandpa, but yeah, that's your words.
He'd love that.
I want to apologize for how I acted on the ship. You didn't deserve that.
We all have bad days, lass. We all have bad days.
That we too. It just seems like some people have more bad days than others, you know. Life.
What was up with the cat? You know?
Oh, you're asking me why I chopped his head off.
Yeah, I mean, it was beautiful to watch. The skill and that axe you bring out of nowhere tickles my fancies, but, you know, an axe person to an axe person. But why? We could have made some coin on him, kind of cut the team's purse pretty tight on that.
Yeah, I did. I had
His
to take full
face.
response.
Gonna get hanged anyway.
Hey, well, quicker death, right?
Hurts.
I take full responsibility for that, but not without reason. He knew something that couldn't have gotten out.
Oh, interesting. Now you got me interested in this conversation. I just assumed maybe you're a bit of a berserker. We have them back in my clan. Well,
I don't know what that
had
is, but
them. Oh, well, there are warriors amongst us that, when they go into the rage, they lose control. It makes them very formidable warriors, but you've got to give them space until they come out of that rage. Otherwise, you might lose your head too. So
you
we
mean
used to get them together and let them loose, and just hope you point them in the right direction. Great warriors, beautiful to watch, but insane.
you mean how you go into battle and you become so angry to the point where you're seeing red and then you just kind of start chopping things down?
Yes, but they lose sight of who the enemy is. They just chop down what's near
Oh.
them.
Interesting. I did not know that. No, I am not a berserker. I have.
That was calculated then.
Yes, it was.
Well, I don't want to
Listen.
piss you off then, do I?
You couldn't if you tried.
Oh, okay. Can I try? Picks up his ale and takes a big swig.
Yeah, I'll pick up my ale as well.
As you take a swig, Sethreth, the ale is like really tart and sour. It kind of like, I don't know if you've ever had that before, but it is very tart and sour. Same with you, Aspen, as you take a swig.
Is it kind of like the fermented milk kind of tart?
No,
and sour?
it's, I mean, if you've in our world, if you've had like a sour beer, it's like that. It's like this very acidic, tart taste that's unexpected when you're expecting to drink ale.
I turn to Rin. At least it's not that spit ale we had at the village.
Rin is neatly cutting the weird meat and just looks up and just.
I reach
honestly,
over.
it's probably their spit too. Like just like not phased anymore.
Oh, that is how you make alcohol. Yes,
I reach over
that
and grab
tracks.
some of the big frog legs and pass them to Rin, dump them on a plate. Gotta try that. It's actually really good, mate. Grab.
As you drop the frog leg on the plate, Bert goes and jumps down onto the plate and puts his beak in and starts pulling big chunks of meat out.
I give Bert a bit of a pat. Let's see if he's how he responds. Oh.
As you go to reach towards Bert turns and the eyes go wide and he goes and goes back down and keeps eating.
He's got ants in his pants today, doesn't he? Little bugger's fired up.
You interrupted the guy when he's eating. I wouldn't do this thing to you.
Should know better by now, shouldn't I? I look back across. Anyway, so if he found something out, I'm assuming you don't want anyone to know. Must be pretty intense stuff.
You and your group, we can say this in 1,000 different ways. You guys are not from Saltmarsh.
Nope.
And the business of Saltmarsh stays in Saltmarsh.
So is this more of a Saltmarsh issue per se, or is it something from your past that's tracked you there?
Now that you don't have to worry about. But I thought I would just come and apologize for calling you an idiot.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But I can be an idiot sometimes, so it's kind of like
But
back at
you have a good heart. I can see that. You care about your friends.
That's all I got.
Just because you're not smart enough doesn't mean that you should be picked on.
Rin
Here
just
we
cut it
go.
off.
Smart, Sethreth, it's okay.
Sorry for calling you an idiot, you idiot. You're on a roll.
I didn't
lass.
mean it like that. I was
okay.
saying it doesn't matter if you're the smartest person or the dumbest person. If you have a good heart, then you should be respected. no matter what.
Yeah, good, hey. Doesn't work
And
that way always.
I must say, I didn't respect you before, but you've grown on me.
Well, that's nice. Tell me, that axe, is it real or is it like a magical thing that just appears when you want? Is it actually physical?
Yes, it's as physical as yours.
And how do you make it appear like that and vanish?
I call upon it. My magic, half of my magic, allows me to do so.
Where is it when it's not with you then? Like, do you have like a place that you keep it, and when you call on it, it flies all the way to you? Like, how does that work?
No, it's more like I store it in a void. Have you ever heard of the Aize, what's it called? He's
And that was when I was in the great deep blue, and I saw the shark coming towards me.
I glance over and say, "Bag of holding," and I go back to him and I said, "No, please continue. I am fascinated."
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's sort of like a void. If you ever had like a magic item where you store things and they just stay there, I can call it out at will.
That's pretty cool. So you could go somewhere unarmed. They think you're safe, and
What are
You
you
got an
doing,
axe.
Sethrith?
what?
Giving the game away. We're at the dinner table. Jeez Louise.
Just talking.
mean,
with
yeah.
the man.
Shifty, it's okay. Go back to flirting terribly.
He's always grumpy, that little bugger.
Well, it's because he never gets any.
Second time
You know.
joking.
You might get some raw fish tonight if he's lucky.
Oh my god. Anyway, so Queen Otho Kent, she makes eye contact with you, Ayuze, as Garil is like talking your head off, and she just gives a quick little finger forward of like, you know, come sit next to me for a minute. She kind of gestures you over.
I look and I say to Gail, "I am so sorry. The queen calls, but put a pin in that because I want to finish our conversation. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave archive with you, so you're not alone."
Wonderful. Oh, this is great. Good idea, Easy.
And they start talking to each other.
And I get up and I walk over to the queen. "Ah, I would say Your Majesty, but I know that's not correct. Oh, my Queen Arthurcamp, I am so honored that you would ask me to sit next to you." And I sit down and then I telepathically contact her and says, "This conversation does not need to be heard by anyone else if you wish."
She kind of sits up straight, and you hear in your head, "I would appreciate that." And then she just kind of very, like, casually just starts to say, "So, tell me what you think about my home and my people." And then continues in your head, "Let's have the real conversation now."
And I smile and I say, "Oh, your place is magnificent. Your guests." And then I carry on the real conversation and says, "All right, number one, it was not the Lord's Alliance that attacked you. It was a group of interlopers who were hired by the Zentarum." I know I messed that up. Which is a criminal syndicate that is quite widely spread throughout the Western lands and the Eastern lands as well. Their motivation is unknown. The man in your cell is not a soldier. He is a spy and highly trained espionage specialist, I might add. We managed to glean some information from him, but the fact of the matter is that he's locked up. He sussed down to us once we discovered the nature of his true alliance. These were Zentaran operatives, or more likely indirect mercenaries and such like, using a cutout. You know what that is?
I have heard the term. Are you able to include another creature in on this conversation?
Yes.
Would you
but
please?
It's more like a real. Do you wish me to add Sorry?
Yes, please.
Ah, yes.
He is very well learned in the other folk.
I'll link Sorif. I'll send a message to Sorif and say, don't respond to this. This is from Aize. Don't panic. Smile. Smile. Good.
I do hope you realize that I am a lizard folk and therefore do not have the musculature for smiling, as I am nearly always smiling. But thank you for warning me. I will continue to stare blankly at my food.
And so I'll relay.
Yeah.
And relay. Anyhow,
Salriv goes,
Oh, yes, I've read about the Zentarum. Nasty business, that. Yes, my queen, this is...
oh, actually, can he talk to Othokent in this channel or no?
I will just puppet whatever he says.
Yeah,
When he says,
okay. For the sake of ease, we'll just kind of have it flow.
I don't think it works like a circuit. I can only talk to one person.
Got it. So yeah, he basically says to you,
Tell the queen I'm aware of these folk, and I can... I vouch for what you are saying. This is true. This organization exists, and I've read of the things that they've done. This sounds in line with their work.
and when you relay that to Othokent, well, very well. This is a good first step. Unfortunately, you will still need to pursue the next test. There are many among my people. She doesn't gesture. She's still talking to you about whatever nonsense. There are still many among my people that value survival and showing the skill to be able to survive. And if you can help us with our cursed aspect of Samuanya, I think you will gain the trust of all my people.
I find it a remarkable coincidence that they are sending... I'm sorry, but they're...
I'm sorry, is there
I find
something...
it a remarkable coincidence.
Yes.
I find it a remarkable coincidence that they sent a group of operatives to attack you at the same time as your sacred, your god creature.
Well, to be clear, the attack occurred about a week ago. Thousand Teeth started showing signs of corruption 3 months ago. It is close. You're right. Do you suspect they may be behind both?
I suspect everything. It's in my nature. But I would say that we will explore the possibilities as to the origins of the Thousand Teeth's condition as part of it.
I
Who
appreciate...
knows? We may not need to kill him.
Oh, you say that? If you
Yes.
could find a way to cure whatever the corruption is within them, you would greatly receive our respect and trust. You would earn the trust of even our most devout shamans amongst us that do not believe we should be intermingling with others outside of our kind.
That is a question we should have asked him, but I only thought of it now.
The spy you speak of?
Yes.
Well, you have the morning.
Indeed. I will inform the rest of the party.
You hear a big and you see Ertos slamming his mug down on the wooden table, and the room kind of goes quiet, and he stands up.
I would like to make a toast to the Queen and our new forged alliances.
And he holds out his mug to all of you. The Queen sits back and kind of looks towards him, and she says in your head, Aize, you're welcome to stay there for this. He doesn't speak much, so this probably will be short. he looks around the room.
Thank you all for joining our feast. Semyuanya has guided us well, and I trust my queen. Unfortunately, there are some things that have happened to us recently. We've seen signs of woe and corruption from our aspect of Sanyuanya, Thousand Teeth. And I'm afraid that these signs cannot be ignored. So, my queen, please forgive me for this.
And he turns into a ginormous crocodile, just exploding outwards. The table and silverware goes scattering across. Multiple people kind of jolt back with surprise. Sarev kind of falls down from this huge creature emerging before you all. You see a few other lizard folk grabbing under the table, pulling out spears, shing, standing up as Irtos explodes outwards into a massive crocodile next to Otho Kent.
Ulrich, run! You're not here.
I would like you all to roll for initiative as this happens.
Killer Croc. Where Croc? Bring
And
it on.
we're probably going to... God, we're at 6:50. We might want to actually end a little early tonight and resolve this next session, because this is a big combat that's about to happen. But let's get everybody's initiative into the tracker so we have that ready to go.
Nathan, how dare you tease me?
No, I know.
Oh man, I forgot to click on my token. That was wild.
That's okay.
I got a 17.14.
But
17.14.
it's gonna carry over to next week. You can see Aize got a 7.
A 7, okay. Also, Aize, I am putting you next to Otho Kent since you were sitting there.
Yep.
So, wait, sorry. Archive is with Garil.
I did roll originally a 16.14, but I hadn't clicked on my character.
I will change that now. 16.14.
Sorry.
What did you get, Aspen? You got a what?
17.14.
17.14. Okay. And then was there anybody else that I need to adjust their initiative?
Aize got a 7, and I'm not in the turn order.
7. Okay. I see you on there.
Might not. Huh, weird. I don't see me. Maybe I need to refresh.
And Shifty, it looks like you got an 8. Okay.
Yeah, I
Oh, wait. Hold on, everybody. Everybody keep your numbers in mind. I'm sorry, I did not clear the cache from last time. That's why I see you, Aize. So hold on. Keep your numbers in mind. I'm going to have to add you manually. I am terribly sorry. All right.
The numbers are in the margin. They're all listed there. Like everyone
I
was
seem to have forgotten my number.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Shifty, you're an 8. Oh,
Shifty
never
wants
mind.
to re-roll.
All right, hold on.
Shifty, roll
I know-
persuasion.
I
Shifty.
know that this is riveting for the audience to watch, but please bear with us. Seth, real quick, what did you get? You said a 16.
16.14.
Thank you. And I'm gonna just go down the line here. Aspen, what did you get?
17.14.
Show off.
You wanted to see
Shifty?
the axe in action, right?
Yeah.
What did you get, Shifty?
I got an 8.
You did get an 8. Okay, so that was accurate.
Persuasion on the DM. Use persuasion on the DM.
Aize, what did you get?
7.
7. Thank you. And Rin, what did you get?
13.16.
6. Okay. All right, I got all the players' initiative scores. I will do the NPCs after once we end the stream. So, because I don't need to bore everybody with that. But also I wasn't on the map view. For those of you watching at home, that is what Irtos turned into, a giant crocodile.
Wow.
Very big, and this one is appropriately sized. I'm just kidding. I'm sorry, Tony. I'm sorry, Tony. I'm sorry, Tony. I
Poor
just
Tony.
Tony.
everybody.
Tony's saying, this under this bus is terrible. Is all I gotta say.
I'm sorry, Tony. I won't keep ragging on you about that. Because I'm sure that the players will.
Yeah.
All right. So with that though,
Wait, we got our boots. Sorry, I'm just thinking
Yeah.
about the boots.
The what?
Specifically with the, if you want to say.
Crocodile boots.
the boots. Which boots?
Oh, we're joking. I always want.
Yeah, we
boots
got our
made of
boots
skin.
from our last one.
Oh, got it. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. I think I know we're a little early here, but I just starting a combat with 10 minutes left just doesn't make any sense.
No, you'll be stopping in mid-round. And,
Yeah. So with that, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Do any of you have anything you want to say before we end? Are we good?
I changed my spell list already.
You did.
Did we get a long rest or just a short rest?
Just a short rest. So
shit.
so please, if you can try to remember. Sorry, I said short rest. I said short rest. I
No,
did not say long
you're
rest.
fine.
I know.
I don't
This
have
was
very
me
many
being silly.
spells.
I was prepping for the swamp the next day, so I got a hydro load right now, and
Yes. Jack.
I'll try to switch it back.
Just to say to everyone out there, you really want to tune in next week. Next week's going to be quite unique.
Yes. Please
Indeed.
tune in next week. We have some big stuff happening next week. So.
Jack has a new outfit and he'll be dancing for us.
Got the pole.
I heard he has a sword. I heard he has a battle axe dance or something like that.
Hi,
Uh-huh.
Bird.
Or the battle axe.
I cannot with you guys.
All right.
Might be
Well,
this.
on that note, I think we're gonna end here. Thank you all for joining us. I had a blast tonight. I hope you had fun. I hope you all had fun, and we will see you next week.